Good guys, and today's video is sponsored by Boom Self Meditation. Boom Self Meditation is back. So if you are looking for something that's going to help you escape this matrix, help you ascend, help raise your vibrational frequency, also help calm you, benefit your meditation sessions and your grounded sessions, you need to download this album right here that is completely free. It's completely free. It's available on all platforms. The links will be in the description. And again, thank you to Boom Self Meditation for sponsoring this video.
Tate Spiritual, and I'm back with another video, man. Simple. Now today I'm gonna be speaking on the male versus female gender war that is happening specifically within the black community. And while I'm speaking on it happening specifically in the black community, all races of people can take some information from this video. I'm just speaking on it from the black community because that is the body that I'm in, and that is the community that I am most associated with. All right, so before we get into this video, everybody please stop, because this is a premiere. Look below, hit the like button, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and also share this information. And I want you guys honest opinions on the things that I'm going to say. There's no right or wrong, just your honest opinion. All right, now let's get into it. And first, let me say this. I do not hate black women. I do not carry any disdain for black women. So if you clicked on this video thinking that it's going to be a bash black women type video, this is not going to be that. This is not going to be that. When I see a black woman out here, especially that spiritual, radiating feminine energy, I respect that so much. Not saying I don't respect those that don't, but I respect that even more. When I see a black woman out here wearing her natural hair, afro, I respect that. I admire that. Those that are out here doing spiritual work, healing this planet, I respect that. I admire that. So this is not a bash black women video. This is not that. All right, but what I'm going to point out is some of the things that some, not all, that some do that go against what they want. And this is not a one-way street. Don't confuse that. While some black women do things that go against what they want, some black men also do things that go against what they want. And this is all within our community. We as a whole, the black community, this is an issue that we face, this gender war. Now, to give you guys a little more clarity on what I'm going to be speaking of, I'm going to show you guys a screenshot. First, I'm going to read it, then it's going to pop up on the screen so you guys can read it. And I'm going to blur the woman's name out because I don't want people, I don't know how many people are going to see this video. I don't want people going to her Twitter account, bashing her and all these things. So out of respect, I'm going to blur her username out. All right. Now, I got my phone right here so I can pull up the screenshot. So I'm going to read this to you. So I was on Twitter today and I came across a tweet from a black woman. Now, before I get in this, before I read this, let me specify this right here. I'm not in any relationship right now. I'm not. I'm single. If somebody came up to me and they asked me, when it comes to race and ethnicity, what is your preference? I say a black woman, because that is what I like the most. That's what I'm most compatible with. But just because my preference is a black woman, that does not mean that is the only option that I would explore. Okay? Now, I came across this tweet from this black woman. And it says, and I quote, I own, she said I-O-N, I don't trust no nigga that like white girls. I don't care. Now, this is a sensitive topic when it pertains to black people dating white people. This is a sensitive topic. You see it on social media all the time. So I'm like, okay, it's one of those type of posts. All right. Now let me go and search, how does she speak about black men? Okay? Because she uses the word nigga. So we obviously know she's referring to black men. And oh, here's the screenshot of her tweet. All right? So she uses the word nigga. So we know she's referring to black men when she say that. All right? So I found some tweets by her. And the tweets that I saw her make go against what she says. Because initially she said, I don't trust no nigga that like white girls. I don't care. All right. Now let's see how she speaks about black men. So the first post that I seen, and I'm gonna put it on the screen after I read it. She said, I hate when niggas ask for my number. I just do. Here's the post. Now she said that. You know, I'm gonna keep going. Then I'm gonna touch back. I'm gonna keep going. Here's the next one. She also said something about a nigga trying to link don't sit right with me. Here's a screenshot. I'm gonna keep going. She also said all these ugly niggas that I turned down probably would have treated me right. Okay, here's that screenshot. And she also said, because there's more, I just don't like to be bothered by niggas. No, you cannot talk to me. Now she just said she don't trust no niggas, as she said, niggas. She said she don't trust no niggas that would date a white woman. Yet she just said right here, I don't like to be bothered by niggas. You see the contradiction? Let's keep going. And lastly, this is the last one. She said, ew, I like this nigga. I hate it here. Now, that's probably a troll post. That's probably for laughs. I get that. But you see, she didn't specify that. So people just take that as what it is. They can take that how they take, because you don't specify if you're joking or not. Now, the reason that I'm using this woman for an example is because I've came across quite a few people that speak in the same manner. And she does not represent all black women. She does not. Not all black women speak like this about black men. Not all. So let's not confuse that. Okay? But there's many that think like her. Now, in her initial post, she said, I don't trust no nigga that like white girls. She said that. Now, when I go over to her screenshots, she said, I hate the post she made. She said, I hate when niggas ask for my number. I just do. Now, as a black man watching this, how does that make you feel? You see, we live in a world right now where it's already a little difficult for a lot of men to approach a woman in the first place. Now, this is a black woman that says she hates when black dudes like white girls, yet she just said that she don't like when those same black dudes ask for her number. Now, how in the hell are you supposed to get to know somebody without getting their number? How? I mean, we could go back to the old days, send a letter, horse and carriage, or you can call the pigeon, tie it to his feet and go fly. We can do that, but that's just not reasonable. That's not. So for this woman that tweeted these things, if you're watching this video, I'm not bashing you, but you got to understand the way that you speak the way that you speak pushes black men away from you. It does. Because you see, your posts, they carry such hostility. Such hostility. This man doesn't even know you. He can think you're just you're the most gorgeous woman he's ever seen. He can be feeling that way. And he can know you. And then he see that post and like, well, damn. Can I really even approach her? Look how she's speaking. If I ask for her number, it's going to be a problem. And you see that right there? That toxicness that she displays, that pushes a lot of black men away from black women. It does. Because it's like it's like this wall of defense that this woman has built, that she's built up. And she's not the only one that does things like this. She's not. Now let's move on to her next post so I can break that down. I got an ant on my screen. She says something about a nigga trying to link don't sit right with me. Well, don't you gotta be around somebody to get to know them? Don't you have to be around somebody to get to know them? Be in their presence, feel their aura, vibe, like many people say. You have to be around them. So not only did you just say that niggas, I'm using your terminology, that niggas asking for your number don't sit right with you. That's an issue with you. Now you're saying dudes, niggas, black men trying to link up with you don't sit right with, like, do you see the issues with that? But you will tweet something that says, oh, if those same dudes went and got a white girl, you couldn't trust them. Well, how can they trust you? Look how you speak about them. Look at the venom, the energy. Where's the praise and the uplifting? You see, a lot, I'm saying a lot, some black women treat black men like an option, but then they expect those same black men to treat them as the priority. And that's an issue. That's an issue. You can't treat somebody like an option and then expect them for you to be the priority. You see, this woman's tweets, this black woman's tweets, she is treating black men like an option, but is expecting for them to prioritize her. Let's move on to the next one. She said, all these ugly niggas that I turned down probably would have treated me right. I made a video about a year ago saying that if someone's called you ugly, watch this video. You see, the reality of the situation is this. We're not going to find every single person attractive on this planet. We're not. You're not going to be attracted to everybody that you see. There's a physical aspect of you. No matter how spiritual you are, as long as you're in a body, there's a physical aspect of you, meaning that looks will matter. They will matter. But just because I don't find somebody attractive, that does not make them ugly. Because while I may not find them attractive, somebody could find them to be the most beautiful person they've ever seen. That word ugly, when it comes to describing people, should just be thrown out. It should be thrown out because it's subjective. Just because I call them ugly, that doesn't mean that they're ugly in their entirety, because somebody else can find them beautiful. And the thing is, I'll say this. A lot of these dudes that slide in DMs, respectful ways, they don't get responded to. They don't. There's a reason for that. Because it's entitlement. That some, not all, that some women feel. It's entitlement. Let's move on to the next post. She said, I just don't like to be bothered by niggas. No, you cannot talk to me. You see, now with this post right here, this woman has completely shut herself out from the black men that she said in her initial post should prioritize her. She just completely shut herself off. Those same black men that if they went and dated a white woman, it would upset her, it would bother her, she couldn't trust them. Those same black men, she just said she don't even want to talk to her. She just said that. You see, when you say things like that, you gotta think, how is this going against what I want? Because clearly she wants a dude. She does. But does she want a black dude? That's to be determined. Because of the way that she's speaking right now, a black dude would be unsure if she wants a black dude. Now I'm pretty sure, and I know this, she made one post where she was saying that she liked this nigga. She used that terminology again. She liked this nigga. She said that. But how can you try and tweet in a positive manner about niggas, about black dudes, and then you drop tweets and posts like this telling none to talk to you, you trying to meet up with me don't sit right, no, you can't get my number. All these things go against that. They go against that. They do. You see, all this, what she's saying, it stems from something. And that goes back to the point of this video. The gender war. Male versus woman. Black man versus black woman. And this I don't need a man attitude. This I don't need a woman attitude. You see, women need men. Men need women. Now, I just said that very slowly for a reason. Because after I said women need men, what came to your mind? How did you feel? And be honest. Did you feel like, yeah, that's true? Or did something within you say, I don't need no man? Or did something within you say, oh, I don't need no woman? Which one was it? This is a premiere, I'm asking. Which one was it? Because you see, when it comes to this gender war, that's something that's happened recently. Back in ancient times, when these things were more prominent, back in Egypt, back in Kush, back in Kemet, when they were building those hieroglyphs, those monuments, those statues that you can go see to this day, when this symbol right here was formed and brought and introduced here, there was no gender war. That didn't exist. That wasn't even on their mind. For those that are watching this video, do you know what this stands for? This part of the Ankh symbolizes the womb. It symbolizes the female aspect of creation. This part of the Ankh symbolizes the male aspect of creation. Now, if you look, these two join. They join and they create life, union, partnership, equality. So they didn't have a gender war back then. They do not. They did not. That's what we have now, because they understood I need a woman. And women understood I need a man. And they understood that it's okay to say that. You see, we live in a society now where it's not okay to say that anymore. It's not okay to say that. If you say that publicly now, you come across as needy. You come across as being too submissive. You see, this woman, I'm not gonna disrespect her. That woman, I'm not gonna disrespect her. No. Because I know the way that she speaks is most likely coming from a deep pain within her. Something that happened to her. Probably most likely by way of another black man. You see, women act like this. And many of them do because of black men and what black men have done to them, how they've wronged them. And I understand that. I understand that. I get that. But what we have to understand is just because a certain individual, just because a certain black man or a certain black woman has done us wrong, we cannot allow that one person, what that one person does, to spread and contaminate everybody else that we can possibly speak to in the future. You see, there's strength in that union. Black men, black man, black woman. There's strength in that union. There's a reason that that union is being targeted so much. There's a reason that they're pushing all these agendas, all this FNF, and I'm gonna say this, and excuse my language, that song called Fuck Nigga Free, that song right there, there's a reason all these things are being pushed. They're trying to separate us. They're keeping us at war with each other. They're keeping black men at war with black women. You see, we're going through a whole spiritual war right now. We're supposed to be going against elite. We're fighting a civil war within our own community. How the hell can we fight the main war versus them? We can't. We can't. Black women, you need black men. Black men, you need black women. You do. And even just in general, men, you need women. Women, you need men. We're both here for that reason, to balance each other. We bring different things to the table. Now, I'm not going to go down a debate about what men bring to the table, what women, no. I'm saying from an overall standpoint, we bring different energy and different aspects to each other. That's why we're here. These type of things that she's saying completely goes against all that. It goes against all of that. And what I notice is many people only focus on interracial relationships when it's a black and white thing. And you would think that it's only two races on this planet because that's the only time that a lot of focus is put there. And I'm going to say this, and this may offend some people, but I'm going to say this. And the black men that are watching this video, you're going to resonate with this. I'm pretty sure. Black men get a lot more flack and hate for dating outside their race opposed to black women. You can look in the comments of interracial relationships. You can look into the comments. These basketball players, they're dating a white woman, and all you see is Dr. Umar Johnson memes in the comments and about how much of a traitor they are to their own community. But then when you go to somebody like Serena Williams and she posts her and the white man that she dates, which is perfectly fine, you'll see positive things, or somebody brings it up, it'll be justified by saying, oh, well, the black man just messed up, she gave him enough chances. You see, the reality of interracial dating is this. And I know I'm touching a lot of subjects, but we cannot put our own personal expectations for dating on the world and then get mad at the world when they don't follow our own personal expectations. Especially when the people that we're getting mad at and that we're bothered by seeing don't even know who we are, nor what our expectations are. They don't even know. They don't. People can date who they want. That's the truth. You can date who you want. That's a personal choice. Now, is agendas being pushed to get black people to date each other less? That's true. That's true. But we cannot sit here and just place our expectations of dating on humanity as a whole. We can't. Dr. Umar Johnson says a lot of crazy things. I don't agree with a lot of the stuff he says. I'd say 99%, but he says something. And I can see that. When you have somebody that's an activist, speaking out for the black community. One of the most beneficial things they can do is date a black woman and show that union. I understand that. I get that. That makes perfect sense to me. But at the end of the day, that's still an option for them to do. That's not a requirement. And you have many black men or many black women out here that they're not even activists. They're not. They're just living their lives. And they're dating outside their race. So they're not even trying to be this person, this public figure. So we can't place, even if you may agree with what Dr. Umar Johnson says about that perspective when it comes to trying to be an activist and dating another black person, you can't apply that to somebody else that does not even have that same motivation as you. They don't even want to be that. They just want to find love. Me personally, my preference, I would love to be with a black woman. I would love to. But that's not the only race of being that I would date here. That's not. This whole gender war thing is primitive. It comes from a primitive mindset. It does. Because now they've convinced women to try to do everything that men can do. Instead of doing and just instead of doing things that they can do better than we can. They convince women that you have to do every single thing a man can do. You have to be capable of doing every single thing a man can do. We are supposed to compensate for each other. We are. And that mindset right there leads to a lot of women going around always displaying masculine energy, and that deters some dudes away from them. Because we got to understand this. Men, both masculine and feminine, they are more masculine, predominantly masculine. Women are masculine and feminine. They are more predominantly feminine. A balanced individual can display both of those aspects, okay? But now, we live in a society where if a black man, and this is not even just black men, if a man shows his vulnerability, it gets used against him. It gets put against him. And what you see, when that happens, it makes it very hard for that man to open up again. Because their emotions have been attacked. Their vulnerability has been attacked. Pharaoh's ghost was doing a live stream last night, and a woman was in the comments, and she attacked his emotions. Not that he was emotional, no. But because a woman was pretty much cursing him out and all that, being real disrespectful. He didn't respond in that same tone. He was more sharp, tactical, funny, made jokes about it. She saw that as, oh, you're displaying feminine energy. And she said that in an attack manner, to attack his emotions. In reality, he wasn't displaying feminine energy. He was simply being calm. And he wasn't resorting to the same things that woman did to him. But the thing is this. That woman that said that to him, she expected that. She expected him to get on there lashing out, cursing out, being angry, doing threats. She expected that. And when she didn't see that, that bothered her. It did. You see, that is a problem within this community right now, the black community. Taking advantage of each other's vulnerabilities. And it's not just a man it's not just a woman taking advantage of a man's. Let's not confuse that. Black men are also taking advantage of black women's vulnerability as well. They'll hurt this person, and then this person will go to this person and hurt them. when in reality that person didn't even do anything to the person that was initially hurt. There's many problems that we are facing within the black community right now. Many problems. But one thing I'll say is this. Those that are still caught up on the gender war, you're way behind on the spiritual war. I'm going to say it again. Those that are still caught up in the gender war and you haven't figured that out yet, you're way behind the spiritual war. You're way behind. And at this point of time, I didn't even know this many ants was down here. Wow, they're not even biting me or nothing. At this point of time, you do not want to be behind in the spiritual war. You don't. So to tie this video up and to bring this all home, tweeting and posting things like what this woman said, I don't trust no nigga that like white girls, I don't care. But then you go out and tweet and degrade niggas so much is a complete contradiction. It goes against everything you're saying. Because you expect, this one, I'm speaking to you, you expect yourself to be a priority for black men, but they're clearly not a priority for you. And that's the issue that we face. Okay, I understand what people say when they say, "Oh man, how could you date a white person? Oh, they enslaved black people. They did this." Listen, you cannot. Well, I won't say you cannot, because you can technically do whatever you want. But blaming somebody of today for something that somebody did over 200 years ago is not ideal. Nobody alive right now on this planet existed during slavery. The body that they're in did not exist during slavery. It did not. Meaning this, nobody here owned slaves. Nobody. I see people of all races genuinely trying to live good lives. They're positive people. They are. I'm not going to come to them with this hostility for something that they themselves did not even do. I'm not going to do that. That makes no sense to do. And that's not even fair. It's not. Because you see, when you think that mindset, oh, how could you date this white person? They enslave people. You gotta go all the way with that. Because there's black people, and this is not me defending white people. This is me speaking on both sides, okay? There's black people that go out and kill other people for no reason. We are the only race on this planet that glorifies murdering each other so much, that glorifies finessing each other so much. We are the only race that does that. So when you speak and you apply that logic and that ideology that, okay, how could you date this white person? They enslaved us. How you're putting that person's, that race of people's past depth on the current. You also have to do that with yourself. All these black people out here that have killed, all these hood dudes, all these gangsters that have killed children in drive-bys, that have killed elderly people of other races that were sitting on their porch. If you're going to use that logic that white people's past carry over to those and condemns those of now, you also have to carry that same logic of the black people that did those things over to you now. Thus labeling all of us criminals, all of us murderers. You see how foolish that sounds? That sounds foolish. I'm not saying we should forget the things that happen to black people. Hell no. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is condemning those now for things that they did not do is not ideal. It's not. We can have conversations. We can have debates. But to just blindly condemn somebody that you don't know and hold them accountable for something that they didn't do is not fair. It's not fair. And I want to speak on this in this video. For those worried about interracial dating, date who you want. People are going to say what they're going to say. You cannot change what people say. You can add an influence to what they think, but the conclusion that they come to, that is based off them. That is up to them. You cannot forcefully change that. Okay? Like I said before, there is things that are being done to get black people to date each other less. There are things that are being done to do that. So I acknowledge that. But we cannot sit here and expect every black person to be with a black person, because that's not going to happen. I'm sorry, but that's not going to happen. That's not. People tend to do what they're told not to do. Many people are told not to date outside your race, not to do this, and they go and do that same thing. That's going to keep happening. This gender war, this race war, and I'm gonna touch on that a little more in another video. That is something that we're going to have to, we gotta move past that. I'm not saying forget that, but that's something that we have to move past, because there's a bigger war that's happening right now. There's a bigger war that's happening right now, and it's bigger than race. The war of the elite versus the poor. Ain't no middle class. You're either the elite or you're the poor. That's the war that's happening right now. That's the biggest war that's happening right now. So black people, black women, black men, understand it's okay to say you need each other. It's okay to say that. It's okay to acknowledge that. That doesn't make you weak. That doesn't make you a weak individual because you say that. And I get people have been through things, and it's hard to say those things because they feel like they're gonna get taken advantage of. So you gotta have your defense up. I understand that. I get that. But when it comes to dating, and this goes both ways, a lot of black people go outside their race because they feel a deep hostility when they try to go within their race. And they go outside their race and they don't feel that. Those walls they have to knock down to finally get to this person's true self, they're not there. So they go outside and they see what's different and they find something and then they stay there. If you want to be with a black person and you're black, that's fine. If you want to be with another race and you're black, that's fine. We have to acknowledge that. We have to acknowledge that. Because the more people sit here and allow themselves to keep getting angry about every interracial relationship that they see, you're going to forever be an angry person until your last breath, because those are not going to stop. Those are not going to stop. Now, I know some seem weird. People have done some stupid things. Some people reenacted slavery stuff. Some interracial couples have done some stupid things. But at the end of the day, a lot of those things are done for clicks because they know it's going to trigger a response. They know that. So for the woman that I initially made this video about, I hope you heal to the point where you don't have to speak of black men in that manner. I really hope that. I'm not disrespecting you. I'm not. I want you to become the best version of yourself. I want you to reach the point where you don't have to express yourself in this nature anymore. You don't have to express yourself from that deep sense of pain and hurt. Because I'm going to say something. A lot of black people feel some type of way about when a black person dates another white person or any side or any other race because they lost somebody at one point to said race because somebody they was dating chose or left them for that race. That's a pain. That hurts. But that was just you. That was just one instance. Can't allow that to taint an entire group of people. This is not a video defending white people. This is not a video defending black people. I'm speaking about this from a whole. From a whole. Because this race war, this gender war, these are things we have to get past. And for those that are still caught up into this, and I'm not, when I say caught up into this, let me be specific. Just because you speak about it and you point out and highlight certain things, that does not mean you're caught up in it. So information should be spread about it. I'm talking about those that are just absolutely fixated on this. They're fixated on this. This is the main, they're fixated on this. They're always angry. They're always upset. If you're like that, you're behind in the spiritual war. You are. Because that hate is something you're going to have to eventually remove from within yourself when you speak of ascending to a different dimension. When you speak of ascending to 5D, you got to move on from that. But anyways, that's just my opinion on this. You guys can let me know your opinion below. I love black women. I appreciate black women. When I see black women out here doing positive things, I admire that. I do. We need you, black women, from black men. We need you to do what you do. And you need us to do what we do. We should not be at war and conflict with each other just over gender. You can do some things I can't. I can do some things you can't. Those things that we can't do, we compensate for. And when we compensate for each other's weaknesses, then there's no weaknesses at all. And that's strength and that's union. All right? Date who you want. Date who you want. Now, I will say, for the black people that are watching this video, and you date outside your race, you're most compatible with another black person spiritually. That's just from a DNA standpoint and an energetic standpoint. That's all that is. That's not superiority, but that's true. All right? This I don't need a man, this I don't need a woman, this constantly calling women bitches, all these things, those are things that need to cease. Tupac said it best, we went from brothers and sisters to niggas and bitch. We went to that. Because that's been deeply engraved within us. And even I use that word from time to time. Not bitch, but niggas. Not in the sense of a disrespectful way, but it's been deeply engraved within a lot of us based off of how we were brought up here. Okay? I am not excluding myself from any of this. I am not putting myself above any of this. I'm genuinely making this video to understand, to get people to understand that we need each other. Put race to the side. Women need men, men need women. Anyways, but when you have people out here preaching that I don't need a man BS, like Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, City Girls, all that toxicity right there, that's when guys like Andrew Tate and Kevin Samuels, rest in peace, and other dudes of that magnitude start speaking in that manner. Because you have these women saying they don't need this, and they're going at men. Now you're gonna have these men, public figures, go at these women, and there's the gender war right there. There's the damn gender war right there. We shouldn't be in a gender war. They weren't in a gender war back then when these things were built. There wasn't no gender war. You can look into it. Women were admired in Egypt, Cush, Kemet. They were admired. They weren't inferior. That's what we need to get back to, especially within the black community. Okay? Anyways, thank you guys all for watching this video. Remember, we are all spiritual beings having a human experience. Tate Spiritual signing out, bro. And like the Navi saying avatar, I see you. Simple.